Hello students, this is Dr. A.Y. Khan. I'll be dealing with organic chemistry for you all. Today, let us discuss the topic heterocyclic compounds. Let us see first what are heterocyclic compounds. Let us then discuss the classification of these compounds. Okay, then we'll see what are aromatic heterocycles and then orbital picture of some of the heterocyclic compounds. See, heterocyclic compounds are the cyclic organic compounds in which one or more carbon atoms of the ring is replaced by other atoms. The other atom is called as an heteroatom. Let's take an example. This is benzene. This is benzene. This is not an heterocyclic compound. Okay. This benzene. See, there are 6 carbon atoms here. So this is a cyclic system. If one or more carbon atom of this ring is replaced by an other atom, which we refer it as heteroatom. Heteroatom. So generally, the heteroatoms present in the ring will be nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen generally. Even some atoms like boron, phosphorus, silicon can also be present in the heterocyclic ring, but most commonly these will be there. See, if one of this carbon atom, it's not only for the benzene ring, for any cyclic system, if one or more carbon atoms of the ring is replaced by an heteroatom, then such compounds or the resulting compounds are called as heterocyclic compounds. For example, see, I will replace one carbon atom of this ring by a nitrogen atom. See what you get. You get this compound. So this is an heterocyclic compound. Okay. So heterocyclic compounds are nothing but these are the class of an organic compounds. These are cyclic compounds in which one or more carbon atoms of the ring is replaced by an heteroatom. Heteroatom generally will be nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. Even we come across some other heteroatoms that may be present. For example, phosphorus, boron, etc. may be present in the ring. Okay, so this is an heteroatom. So this is a heterocycle. Another example is this example. Look at this. This is also a cyclic system, okay, in which, see, here nitrogen is present. So instead of carbon, nitrogen will be present. Another example, somewhat like this molecule, which has a nitrogen atom here. So this is also an heterocyclic compound. Heterocyclic compound. Another example for heterocyclic compound. This is heterocyclic compound. So in the ring, instead of carbon, if nitrogen, sulfur, or oxygen is present, then those compounds can be referred as heterocyclic compounds. See, this is another heterocyclic compounds. Okay, so heterocyclic compounds are the compounds in which one or more carbon atoms of the ring, these are cyclic compounds in which one or more carbon atoms of the ring is replaced by an heteroatom like oxygen, sulfur, or nitrogen. Now let us discuss the classification of these heterocyclic compounds. So these heterocyclic compounds can be classified on the size of the heterocyclic ring. Okay, on the size of the heterocyclic ring as well as the number of heterocyclic heteroatoms that are present. So based on the size of the heterocyclic ring, we can classify them into 5-membered heterocycles, 6-membered heterocycles, so on. Generally 7-membered heterocycles these are. Okay, so you can classify them into 5-membered heterocycles, 6-membered heterocycles, 7-membered heterocycles. Even we have heterocycles which are 3 membered as well as 4 membered also. But general examples that I am giving is, so this is based on the ring size also you can classify them. Okay, if I want to give an example, look at this. So how many atoms are present in the ring you see here? This is one atom, carbon. This is another carbon. This is carbon, nitrogen and carbon. See, this molecule has 4 carbon and 1 nitrogen in the ring. So this is a 5-membered heterocycle. Look at this. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 atoms are present. 5 carbon and 1 nitrogen. So this is a 6-membered heterocycle. Okay. So based on the size of the ring, we can classify this heterocycle into 5-membered heterocycle, 6-membered, 7-membered also. So if there are 7 atoms in the ring, we can classify them into 7-membered. For example, if you want an example, this is an example. Look at this. See how many atoms are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 carbon and 1 nitrogen. So this is a 7-membered heterocycle. So these heterocyclic compounds can be classified based on the ring size. So even we can further classify them into number of heteroatoms that are present. For example, take this example. This is a 5-membered heterocycle containing 1 heteroatom. So I can give another example. Look at this. This is also 5-membered only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-membered heterocycle, but it contains 2 heteroatoms. So this is a 5-membered heterocycle containing 2 heteroatoms. This is a 5-membered heterocycle containing 1 heteroatom. Look at this. This is a 6-membered heterocycle containing 1 heteroatom. So I can give another example where there may be 2 heteroatoms. Like this. Look at this. So this is a 6-membered heterocycle containing 2 heteroatoms. So this is how we classify them. So we classify them into based on the ring size as well as the number of heteroatoms they contain. So we can classify them into 5-membered, 6-membered, 7-membered heterocycles, so on. So and then we can further classify them into 5-membered heterocycle containing 2 heteroatom, for 6-membered heterocycle containing 2 heteroatom or 1 heteroatom, like this. So this is the basic classification of these heterocyclic compounds. Okay. So there is another way of classifying these heterocyclic compounds based on whether they are aromatic or not. Okay. So we can classify them into aromatic heterocycles and non-aromatic heterocycles. Let us see what is this aromatic character or what we mean by this aromaticity. Okay. So let us see what we mean by this aromatic character or what is this aromaticity. Okay. Now, so aromatic compounds are nothing but these are the cyclic compounds, okay, where there will be delocalization of pi electrons. So there are certain conditions for a molecule to be aromatic. I'll first tell you the conditions. The first condition is the molecule should be closed. I mean ring system, ring. There should be a ring present. Okay, cyclic ring. That means the molecule should be cyclic. This is what I can say. So molecule should be cyclic. This is the first condition. Second condition is the molecule should be planar. Planar. That is alternative. What I can use another term is all the atoms in the molecule, the whole molecule, all the atoms that are present in the ring should have a p orbital. Should have a p orbital so that it involves itself in delocalization. I will tell you what is delocalization actually. So what is the condition for aromaticity? So first condition is it should be cyclic. The molecule should be planar, means the molecule should be flat. Okay, so that delocalization should be possible. Hope you know what is delocalization. Delocalization is nothing but it is the movement of this pi electrons that what takes place. If you take an example of a benzene ring, in benzene ring the pi electrons they move. Okay, they get delocalized within the ring. That is called as delocalization, right? Another condition is it should have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. It should have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. Okay, so where n may be 0, 1, 2, so on. For example, let us see. If n is equal to 0, so 4 into is 0, 0 plus 2. That means molecule with 2 pi electron will be aromatic if it is cyclic and if it has a planar ring system. That is, it should have a p orbital. Each atom should have a p orbital so that there is the delocalization should be possible there. So all the atoms should be in a position to take part in delocalization. Okay, if n is equal to 1, then it will be 4 into 1 plus a 2. That means it should have 6 pi electrons. Or if n is equal to 2, so 4 into 2 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 pi electron, so on. That's what. So you can add n is equal to 3. So the molecules with 4n plus 2 pi systems are said to be aromatic if they are cyclic and if they are planar. That means they should have a p orbitals. Okay, now, so let us see how to find whether the molecule has a p orbital or not. I will take a simple example of benzene. If you consider this carbon compounds, carbon has a valency of 4. Okay, now if all the 4 bonds that are formed by carbon are sigma bonds, if all the 4 bonds are sigma bonds, then the hybridization of that carbon is sp3. I will tell you why I am speaking of the hybridization here. Hybridization of that carbon will be sp3. If carbon forms one pi bond, means if there is one double bond, that means the hybridization of that carbon will be sp2. If a carbon forms 2 pi bonds, then the hybridization of that carbon will be sp. Okay, so based on the number of pi bonds, you can predict the hybridization of the carbon. If carbon forms, the 4 bonds that are formed by carbon are sigma, then the hybridization of that carbon is sp3. If there is 1 pi bond, it will be sp2. If there are 2 pi bonds, then it is sp. So if I want to take an example, this molecule, I will take a simple structure, see, like this. Okay, now look at this carbon. This carbon has formed a sigma bond and the remaining 3 hydrogen also will form a sigma bond. So this carbon has formed all the 4 sigma bonds. That means this carbon is sp3 hybridized. Look at this carbon. This carbon has formed 1 pi bond. There is a double bond. If there is a double bond, one will be sigma, the other bond will be a pi bond. So it has formed 1 pi bond. Hence the hybridization of this carbon is sp2. Look at this carbon. Okay, 1 sigma and 1 pi. The hybridization of this carbon is also sp2. Okay, this is how you should find the hybridization. If I take an example of a benzene ring, I have a benzene ring here. Now, let us find the hybridization of this. Now, look at this carbon. The carbon has formed 1 pi bond, sp2. This carbon also has formed a pi bond, sp2. This carbon has formed 1 pi bond, sp2. sp2. This carbon has formed 1 pi bond, sp2. This carbon is also sp2. That means in benzene, all the 6 carbon are sp2 hybridized. So what is the meaning of this sp2 hybridization is here? See, carbon has in outermost shell, in its valence shell, it has 2s and 2p orbitals. When I say p subshell has 3 orbitals. That's how I can represent it. So carbon valence shell is 2, so it has 2s as well as 2p. If the hybridization of this carbon is sp2, that means 1s and these 2p are involved in hybridization. So if the hybridization is sp2, that means 1s and this 2p. See, sp2 means 1s and 2p orbitals are involved in hybridization. So these 3 orbitals will be involved in hybridization. So these p orbitals will remain as it is, will remain unhybridized. And for delocalization, we require an unhybridized p orbital, which will be perpendicular to the other p orbitals. So that if the p orbital is perpendicular to the other orbitals, then what happens? Then there will be a delocalization possible. If the delocalization is possible, then only the molecule will be aromatic, provided it should have 4n plus 2 pi electrons. Okay, so in general I can say that if the hybridization of the carbon atom is sp2, then there will be one unhybrid p orbital, and that p orbital will involve the electrons that are present in the d orbitals can be involved in the delocalization. See, for example, I will take this example. Look at this molecule. Yeah, this is the molecule, right? Now let us see the hybridization of this. See, the molecule is cyclic. The molecule is cyclic. It is cyclic. Okay, whether it has 4n plus 2 pi electrons. 4n plus 2 pi means the electrons should be 2, 6, 10, 14, so on. How many pi electrons are there? See, when I say a pi bond, there will be 2 electrons. So there are 2 electrons. So it follows this rule. This is called as Huckel's rule. Huckel's rule. So it has 2 electrons. See, 4n plus 2 pi electrons. If n is equal to 0, 2 pi electrons. N is equal to 1, 6 pi electrons. So the molecules with 2 pi electrons, 6 pi electrons, 10 pi electrons, all are aromatic, provided it should follow the other condition. So it is satisfying that condition because it has one double bond. When I say one double bond, there will be 2 electrons involved. So there are 2 electrons. So this is that. Let's check whether the molecule is planar or not. Now, look at this. This carbon is sp2. This carbon is sp2. Look at this carbon. There is no double bond. This carbon will be sp3. This carbon will be sp3. This will be sp3. This also will be sp3. So see, these are sp3 carbon. There will be no delocalization here. So what I said, for delocalization, there should be an availability of an unhybrid p orbital, and the availability of unhybrid p orbital can be predicted based on the hybridization. So if the hybridization is sp2, that means 1s and 2p orbital will be involved in hybridization. So 1p orbital will remain unhybridized. So this is not an aromatic compound. This is not an aromatic compound. Okay. So I will take an example of a benzene ring. Look at the benzene ring. So benzene ring is cyclic. Yes, it is cyclic. Is it planar? Yes. All the orbitals are, all the carbon atoms are sp2 hybridized. That means each carbon atom has one unhybrid p orbital. Okay, which can be utilized during the time of delocalization. Now, then 4n plus 2 pi electrons. So how many pi electrons we have? 2, 4, 6. It has 6 pi electrons. That means it follows this rule also. That means benzene is aromatic. And if the molecule is aromatic, then those molecules will be generally extra stable. Those molecules will be extra stable. Okay. Let us apply this for heterocyclic compounds. Now, look at this. Let us discuss only those compounds that are there for a syllabus. This molecule. Okay. The name of this compound is pyrrole. This pyrrole. Okay. Now, let us look first. Is it cyclic? Yes, it is cyclic. The first condition is satisfied. Okay. Let us see whether it has 4n plus. Let us see whether it is planar or not. Yes, there is a double bond. sp2, sp2, this carbon, yes, there is a double bond here, sp2, sp2. Let us see for this, what about this nitrogen now, right? Now this nitrogen also will be sp2 hybridized only. I will tell you why it will be sp2 hybridized. Now see, nitrogen contains lone pair of electron. Nitrogen contains a lone pair of electrons. What are this lone pair? See, generally nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, all these contain a lone pair of electron. Nitrogen contains one lone pair of electron, oxygen and sulfur contains two lone pair of electron each. Okay, these are the electrons that are not involved in bonding. Okay, so they are available on the nitrogen atom. Now see, how many pi electrons are there? See, there are 4 pi electrons here. This is 2, this is 2. If the molecule has 4 pi electrons, then that molecule will not be aromatic. Why? Because a molecule will be aromatic if it has how many pi electrons? 2 pi electrons, or 6 pi electrons, 10 pi electrons, 14 pi electrons, so on. So if the molecule has 4 pi electrons, then it will not be aromatic. That is why what happens is, the lone pair of electrons that are present in this nitrogen atom, they involve themselves in the delocalization. So they will involve themselves in delocalization. So if they involve themselves in delocalization, so how many pi electrons it will have? It will have 6 electrons that will be delocalized. So 4 from the double bond and 2 from the lone pair. So if nitrogen involves these electrons, then the total number of electrons will be 6 pi electrons, and the molecule will be aromatic, and you know that aromatic compounds are generally stable. So hence the lone pair of electrons that is present on nitrogen will involve themselves in the delocalization. So if this nitrogen has to involve this electron in delocalization, what should be the hybridization of this nitrogen? sp2 only. Because if the nitrogen is sp3, then there will be no p orbital perpendicular, or unhybrid p orbital will be absent there. If the unhybrid p orbital is absent, then there will be no delocalization. So for delocalization, what is required? So the molecule should be planar. I mean, that it should contain, each atom should contain a p orbital, unhybrid p orbital is required. Okay, so hence what happens is, so this nitrogen undergoes sp2 hybridization. Why it undergoes sp2 hybridization? Because if it undergoes sp2 hybridization, then it will have one unhybrid p orbital, and it can involve its lone pair of electron into delocalization. Because if it involves this electron in delocalization, then the molecule will become aromatic. So hence this molecule is aromatic in nature. Okay, I will take another example. This molecule, right? Now look at this. Is it cyclic? Yes, it is cyclic. What is the hybridization? sp2, right? Double bond, sp2, 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 right? sp2, right? Now see, there is each carbon atom has, each atom has one unhybrid p orbital that can be utilized during time of delocalization. Now, whether it has, how many pi electrons it has? 2, 4, 6. That means it has 6 pi electrons. Yes, Huckel's rule. So hence this molecule will be aromatic in nature. See, nitrogen contains a lone pair of electron, but this nitrogen doesn't involve its lone pair of electron into delocalization. Okay, these lone pair of electron will not be involved in delocalization. Okay, so these 6 pi electrons will be delocalized, and this will impart some aromatic character to this molecule. So this molecule is pyridine. This is called as a pyridine molecule. Okay, now let us discuss the remaining 2 molecules that are there for a syllabus. This is the molecule that is there for a syllabus, as well as another molecule that is there. This is the molecule. Okay, so this is furan, this is thiophene. Okay, now the molecule is cyclic. Okay, sp2, 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 sp2. Oxygen has a lone pair of electron, and this oxygen will involve its lone pair, one lone pair of electron for delocalization. Because if these electrons are involved in delocalization, then the total pi electrons will be 6, 2, 4 and 6, and because of this the molecule will become aromatic. The molecule will become aromatic. Okay, so although oxygen has 4 pi electrons, sorry, 4 lone pair of electrons, sorry, lone electrons, it means 2 lone pair of electrons, because when I say a pair I mean 2 electrons. It has 2 lone pair of electrons. Out of 2 lone pair of electrons, one lone pair of electron will be involved in the delocalization. Other orbital, other electron will be present in the sp2 hybridized orbital only. Okay, because since the hybridization is sp2, so what happens is, so it will have one p orbital. So one p orbital, in that one p orbital, one lone pair will be present, and that will be involved in the delocalization, and this will provide some aromatic character to the furan molecule, right? Thiophene. Thiophene is also same. This also has a lone pair of electrons, so it is cyclic. The atoms are, carbon atoms are sp2 hybridized, and see, out of the 2 pairs of electrons, 2 lone pairs of electron, one lone pair of electron will be involved in delocalization. Okay, so it has how many? 6 pi electrons are there. So how many are there? 6 pi electrons will be there. So hence, because of this, the molecule will be aromatic in nature. Okay, so what is the condition for aromaticity, students? The condition for aromaticity is, so one is the delocalization should be possible. That means all the atoms should be involved in delocalization, and for delocalization one unhybrid p orbital is required. Okay, another thing is the molecule should be cyclic in nature, and it should have how many electrons? 4n plus 2 pi electrons should be there, where n may be equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. Right? Hope you are getting these things. Okay, so based on this, the molecules can be classified into aromatic and non-aromatic compounds. See, so based on this, we can classify the compounds into aromatic as well as non-aromatic. Okay, so if the heteroatom is present in an aromatic ring, for example this compound, so this is called as an aromatic heterocycle. So it is somewhat like this. This is not an aromatic heterocycle. Okay, or if we have somewhat like this, this is also not aromatic heterocycle, right? So this is how we classify the compounds based on the ring. We can classify them into 5-membered, 6-membered, 7-membered, so on. 5-membered, again there are 2 types. I mean 5-membered containing 1 heteroatom, 5-membered containing 2 heteroatom, then 6-membered containing 1 heteroatom, and 6-membered containing 2 heteroatom. Then we have aromatic and non-aromatic heterocycles. Okay, so on the last point, students. So if the hybridization of an atom is sp2, so see, if I take an example of carbon, carbon contains 2s and 3 2p orbitals. Okay, carbon contains 2s and 3 2p orbitals. If the hybridization is sp2, that means 1s and 2p will combine. Yes, so if 1s and 2p combines, so how many have combined? 3 have combined. So this combination will give you 3 sp2 orbitals, because one of the feature of hybridization is the number of orbitals that combine are equal to the number of hybrid orbitals that are formed. So if 1s and 2p orbitals combine, then how many new orbitals will be formed? 3 new orbitals are formed. The 3 new orbitals are called as sp2 orbitals. And there will be 1 unhybrid p orbitals. And this is important. Why? Because while discussing the the orbital structure, you should have an idea regarding this. So if the hybridization is sp3, then 1s and 3p orbitals will undergo hybridization. So 4 will combine. So you will get 4 hybrid orbitals, 4 sp3 orbitals. Okay, so there will be no unhybrid p orbital. So there will be no unhybrid. That is why if the carbon atoms are sp3 hybridized, then that carbon will not involve itself in delocalization. Okay, so if the hybridization is sp, think that the hybridization is sp. If the hybridization is sp, then one s and one p will combine. So if one s and one p combine, you get two sp orbitals. You get two sp orbitals and two unhybrid p orbitals, and you will get two unhybrid p orbitals. Okay, this is the basic thing, guys. So what are heterocyclic compounds? Heterocyclic compounds are the cyclic compounds in which one or more carbon atoms are replaced by an heteroatom like nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen, etc. Okay, so friends, so this was about the basics. In the next session we'll be discussing about the reactions of this heterocycle, where actually the attack takes place and all these things. Before that, we'll be discussing about the molecular structure of all these things: thiophene, furon, okay, pyridine, okay, all these things. Thank you.